Venmo me beer money, the McRib, and funeral funnies. All of this on this episode of Brilliant Observations. Well, hello, dear listeners, and welcome back to, are you sitting? I think you are. Welcome back to our 100th episode. Woo! I am here today with Amy and John once again to share joy and pain. Pump it up, sunshine and rain. Keep it going, keep it going. How are you guys?
Nothing worse than a white lady rapping. Unless it's a present. Unless it's a present.
He might be right. He might be right. Maybe a little right.
For some things.
So 100 episodes, guys.
Right? How about that?
That is the cutest! Oh,
that was good.
Either it proves that we just don't know when to quit, or I don't know. Oh, is that what you're going with? Hey, how are you guys doing?
Better. Good. Today I start my 58th year of life on this planet.
Oh, my gosh. That's not possible. 58?
Believe
Come
that.
Come on.
Today
I don't believe it.
Is Jamingo's 58th birthday. Let's all take a moment and wish Johnny a happy birthday.
Happy birthday. We love it. It's awesome.
I know. It's crazy. This June, I will be out of high school 40 years.
Doesn't make any sense.
40 years.
Insane.
Right?
Absolutely insane.
It's like there's things now where I've done longer than I haven't done. You know, like in other words, now I have driven a vehicle longer than I have not driven a vehicle. It took me 17 years to drive, right? And then I've been driving for whatever that is minus my
forever.
I'm not doing podcast math, but I'm just saying, I've been out of school now longer than I was ever in school.
Right.
It's crazy. These are the things that you think about when you're old and you're contemplating your death.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you remember about school? I mean, do you have a memory? Like, are you losing?
No, I mean, I have memories of school and, memories of going to college and memories, I have memories of all that stuff. The weirdest thing about high school and all this was, how did we do it? There was no cell phones. You always had to carry change in your pocket. You knew where all the payphones were.
Those little slates with all the broken chalk, the straps for your book, the horse-drawn carriages.
I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? How old are you? The one-room schoolhouse?
No, I'm just teasing. And the funniest part is somebody here posted a high school memory photograph. It was like a little rhyme. We did this, we did that. We're the class of whatever class they were. And it was something in the 80s, the early 80s. And it was a photograph of easily 20 people. Every single one of them had a cigarette and a beer. And these were high school kids. And and then the next hashtag was, high school before the internet.
Yeah, because if it was Friday and Saturday night, there was always a place to go to a bonfire. There was always beer. I never smoked or anything like that. So, but there was always beer and you always went to a bar. And that's where everybody hung out. It was like
we had a smoking court at my high school. We had a sanctioned place for students who smoked at my high school.
They used to, in our high school, they used to smoke in the boys' room. And if you had to go to the bathroom, if you walked in there, you smelled like a cigarette for the rest of the day.
Oh my!
Is that where that song came from?
I guess. So then I would run to the gym and use the bathroom in the gym because there was no smoking there. So I come in, and the gym teacher, who was a big, giant jerk-off, he'd say, "What are you doing in here, Buchanan?" I said, "I got to use the bathroom." He goes, "Oh, it's not gym time." I said, "I'm not going in there where it's all smoked up. I have to,
I have to smoke up your bathroom.
I'm a gentleman.
Right. I have to stink up
I'm a gentleman, Coach, you dirtbag.
Yeah,
I'm a gentleman.
I'm going to come in there and destroy your bathroom." So,
no doubt.
And he's like, you get out of here. And I'm like, I just ran right in. And he came in, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, what?
I had a second grade. Sorry.
Too late now. Yeah, it was too late now.
I dropped it already.
Yeah.
I dropped half of it. I'm not stopping now. I had a second grade memory yesterday with my kids. I said, I remember so clearly sitting next to George Lee. I can't tell you my last name half the time, but out of nowhere, the brain is truly amazing. I remember sitting next to George Lee, I think in second grade, as he took his little safety scissors, and Christy Geddes, people whose names I have not heard since second grade. He cut her ponytail off. It was like a horse ponytail. She had this mane in the back of her. And with safety scissors, it's not snip. It's hack and hack and hack. He was a super cute little Asian boy sitting next to me. The cutest kid ever. So for fun, we're watching TV. I don't know how the four of us were in the family bed yesterday. They'll kill me for mentioning that. And I was like, I opened up Facebook and I typed it. How many George Lees do you think there are?
1 billion.
At least 1 billion. I typed George Lee, search, and up pops his face. He's the only one in there. And it's maybe because we share a high school. Maybe the algorithm said, this must be the one for
Did
whom
you
she's
use
looking.
the keyword search scissor incident?
Scissoring. It gave me a totally different website.
No. I don't
Totally
even wanna know.
different.
Woo!
But I just like the way your brain works and how that just ran into my head. And I thought, I wonder, do you apologize for cutting somebody's 2-foot ponytail off? And then my kids were like, why didn't she move? Why did she just sit there and bob her head around while somebody was sawing away at the back of her head? And I said, the way I remember it, it's just so surreal. But I wonder, because John, you're like 9 years older than I am. 9, 10?
How
9?
old are you?
Old enough. I'm old enough to know better. But
I can't count. I'm not going to know.
You know my age. Subtract from your age.
He said it.
right.
No,
so-
you're older than 9.
Yeah.
Is that, I don't know
maybe
how old
19.
you are. I know how old I am.
I think I'm 14 years older than you.
Yeah, you're 14 years older than I am. Let's go with that, which is why I remember second grade so well. Yeah. My memories are gone. I don't know where I'm putting anything, but George Lee, I see you cutting Christy Geddes' hair off like it was yesterday. Anybody else remember that?
Well, memories are a weird thing. I think if it's something that's traumatic, if it has an emotion attached to it.
Or music. How about that?
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say it's so interesting because, like you last weekend, I can't believe it. This was my week to go to a funeral, and the music was killing me.
Music?
They had, it was a celebration of life, and there's a local recording artist here. We have quite a few, actually. She came and performed. It was not like, let's all stand and sing this song. So she came and performed, and then when she was done, it was my friend Rachel's husband who passed, and he passed of cancer, and it was not a surprise. So there was a lot of time leading up to this. So Rachel gets up to say her words, and she says, "Oh, that's just so meaningful to me because that was our wedding song, and thank you, Laurelyn, for coming and playing that for us because you played it at our wedding." And I'm going, "Urgh." And then we walked out we all were supposed to stand and sing Let It Be. And then in the end, they made it a cappella. And the whole time, this is where I'm going with the music. I'm thinking to myself, you have just killed the best musical memories that you have. Why are you doing this? It's a funeral. You should be picking out like the Macarena and I don't know, what's the world's worst song that you never want to hear again?
The Macarena. That was it. You nailed it. First shot, you nailed it.
That's what I want. At my funeral, I want the world's worst
Baby Shark.
music.
That's what we're going to sing at your funeral.
Baby fucking shark. She is dead. Do. Amy's dead. Do. Yes, that's the one. That's it. I'm in.
Yeah, she's dead.
What did your friend's date want to play?
My friend's date. We're back to Melissa? What friend?
No. Your friend whose husband died. Her
Yes.
date. Her date.
You shut up. She wasn't bringing a date to that
What the hell
funeral.
is he? Oh, you're just I didn't even get it. It was so mean.
We
That's
did have a discussion
terrible.
in a prior episode. We are at 100 now, but I do remember we had a discussion of how long would it take you if you lost your spouse to start dating. And
I think I was here for that one.
I said something like 2 years before I'd think about it. And John said he'd bring a date to the funeral.
I remember that I was sitting and I was a listener then, full circle. And I was rapidly typing into the stupid Facebook to try and get your attention. I forget what Jessica's response but I kept saying to you, you're not ever going to replace Stuart. You're just not. Who's going to pick up all the dog shit? No one. No one will.
Who's
going to
put up with your crazy? No one.
Well, what's funny is tonight, this afternoon, Stuart was on a conference call, total serious doctor bullshit, whatever he does. Whatever he does that feeds our fucking family and canines. And I see him hit mute on his iPhone. And then I hear, good poopy. Who's a good boy who goes poopy outside? What a good poopy, frankly, good boy. Then he hits mute again. He goes, yes, I could bring that to the meeting. That's fine. And he all of a sudden got serious again. Exactly. After he muted the conversation to cheer for a shit that my dog took. And then went back to, talking about saving lives, like that kind of thing. So you're right. Who else in the world would ever
I was going
put
to tell
up
you,
with?
when they told me to go to the emergency room, I almost drove up to where his emergency room was. Because at least I knew I was going to get the straight scoop. I should have went.
I would do it.
The guy that waited on me. The doctor that saw
My
me.
waiter.
My waiter. The doctor that saw me in the emergency room. I wasn't sure if he was there to see me or to take unimpact a horse's colon. I mean, they were dressed the same way. I was like, dude, are you here to fix the heater or are you a doctor?
Oh,
You know something? That makes a difference. Doctors need to be dressed a certain way. Because this guy comes strolling in and I was like, really? You're the doctor? Where am I, in Korea in 1950?
Did he have a toolbox? Why do you say that?
Was he in like a full body condom? What?
Yeah, he was just like in not even a button-down shirt. It was like, it wasn't a T-shirt, but it was a pullover, 3-button, maybe like a polo, not even.
That's a Henley.
And and I was like, what the hell's going on here?
You too. Aim.
I just wanted to say.
Don Henley?
Yeah. I just wanted to say, do a quick mark. Are you hearing an echo? Are you okay?
No, I'm here fine. Everything's fine.
I think you're
All
great.
right. All right. Super roll. My sister's, what do you call it? Gynecologist, again. I can't remember what they're called. The one with the babies where they're coming out. He would dress.
Obstetrician?
He would dress for all his mothers. So he would show up in his bullshit for a normal visit, but when it's time to give birth, he would put on a suit underneath his nonsense.
No,
Every
he
fucking
would
time.
not.
Every fucking time with a tie, a suit. And he said, I dress for all my mommies.
Really?
Why? Yeah.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah, see,
It's an event. I think
it's an
nice.
event, all right.
Yeah, but the baby daddy is there in a tank top with cut off shorts, and the obstetrician's wearing a fucking suit. He's
Well,
going
one
to
of them's
court.
getting- one
That
of
guy's
them's
going
getting
to
paid
court.
more.
Right. Like I said, with my first daughter, the doctor says to me, do you want to catch her? And I said, no, that's not what I do. I fix elevators. I said,
Thank
you
you.
want me to fix an elevator? I'll do that. Catching a baby, that's your job.
I made the baby. You get it out.
Right.
That's it. We're done.
That's why your malpractice is $1 billion jillion.
Right. They're like, do you want to cut the cord? Again, your job. I won't make you recable the elevator.
That sounds like fun, like
Not to me,
doing
it
the
doesn't.
cord, but not
No.
catching the baby. That's why their malpractice is so bad. Stuart delivered his first baby in residency, and he came home and he had a look on his face. I said, what happened? He said, I delivered a baby today. I said, well, that's amazing. How was it? He goes, they are fucking slippery. I'm like, oh
Yes,
my
they
God,
are.
did you drop a baby today?
Well, not only that, it's the thing. Here's the thing. It's not the baby thing that happens. It's like the baby comes out, and then this deluge of liquid that follows the baby
That's right.
that scares the shit out. Like when I saw that when it came out, I was like, whoa, what's that? You know, because I'm
That's
not ready
the
for
demon
that.
soul. Yes. That's
I'm
our
not ready
Wicca
for
powers.
any of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I might have thrown the baby. That's why it's like, no, I'll stay up here and have her try to rip my fingers apart. You catch the baby.
Super slippery. Super slippery. He was a little nervous. And then you're wearing those gloves. He's like, if I didn't have to wear gloves, it wouldn't have been as slippery. I'm like, and it would have been much grosser for everyone.
I was going to do that. I would want 2 first baseman mitts. Nice big.
The big one.
Yeah.
It's gross. My girlfriend, who's a labor and delivery nurse, she's going through it right now. And we had a conversation about Stuart, like starting over. She's potentially going through a breakup right now. And she said, I don't want to start over. So
Is she having a baby?
No, a breakup
okay.
with her partner. She's
Right.
having so does she, I said, can I make you a Tinder account? Like somebody who's been married in 2 days, I will be married for 20 years.
Oh.
What the what?
So-
Happy marriage to you.
Happy anniversary.
Melissa's
Happy
married, do. She is married, do. Yeah, there's always right.
All right. So she broke up.
They live together. So it's kind of an
Are
awkward
they still living
thing.
together?
It happened yesterday. So yes.
It's still new. They might get back together.
They might, but when you have friends and you tell them how you feel and you're like,
never do that. You don't do that.
And then they get back together and you're like,
and then you're the asshole.
Then you're the asshole. Aim, did that happen to you?
Nope. Oh, 100 times. But I'm not the asshole, because here's the gosh darn, the God's honest truth. Every single time, you are my friend first. Your relationship comes after whatever we got. So it's my responsibility as your friend to slap you twice on the face and say, what the fuck are you doing? And if you still want to do it, then I'm all in. It was like you and that fucking dog.
That's what you
I'm
did to
the only
me.
one that said to you, look it, dope. This is not for you. This is next level stupido. What you're doing, you have to stop it.
I didn't even waste
it's
my breath.
Addicted. Nope, I did it, and I pushed hard, and I went for a day pushing hard. And then she said, and I was like, all right, that's it, we're done. 3 different women, 2 of whom are still married. I told them. But one before the wedding, I said, look I got to give you some intel. I don't know how this is going to go down for us, but I don't know about this man for you. I've got some insider information, and I just want to make sure you have it. And you know what she said? Thank you very much. I do have that insider information. I'm so glad you told me and didn't keep it to yourself and trusted and rah, 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 and they're still married, and they kind of make everybody fucking sick. So how's that work? How's that work for you? Right?
Yes. But my fear is.
But these are also super tight friends of mine.
Yeah, I know.
Not the neighbor.
I know. I just really feel like if he does stay, she's going to be like, yeah, Melissa told me to end this. She told me that she would start a Tinder account for me because the last time I fucking dated, I mean, you couldn't open up a phone and get ass. Like, that's not how dating worked. You had to put on jeans, boots, and a bodysuit, and you had to bring yourself out to the deer park, and you had to, drink. and then you had to say, all right. I mean, you had to work it. You had to.
That was back when no didn't really mean no.
Well,
no meant maybe.
There was always consent, and it had to be given. But there were also there was encouraged consent in the form of lots of too much drinking that the women did themselves.
Right.
So, I'm speaking for me as the women.
And planned on doing. Hey, I'm going to go get all liquored up and then hopefully not knocked up. I mean, that was a thing. I mean, not for me. I would never do that, but
Right.
I had friends. So the thought of starting over makes me queasy, but helping somebody else start over, I'm all in. Like I told you, I want to start that Tinder account. I want to start swiping. I want to start swiping for someone else.
My cousin came to me this week for dating advice. And it's about what he wants, not about what's good for him. So then, so I start telling him, no, this is not a good idea. This will end horribly. Is
this our bad advice segment? Is this our new segment called Bad
could
Advice?
It could
Can we help you? Oh, let's not help.
Let's not
help.
So,
yeah, he's kind of sort of dating someone on it's a physical relationship, but they're not really dating. It's just like a friends with benefits thing.
Yes, that's called fuck.
So he met one of her friends who he likes better, and he's trying to figure out how he can gracefully dump the one and make the switch. I said, you can't make the switch.
You can't. That's good advice. You can't make the switch.
Right. And he keeps telling me, well, what about this? And, we're not really. And I'm like, no.
Nope.
And then he starts attacking me. And I'm like, hey, dude, you asked me. I didn't ask you. I said, go ahead. I said, I dare you to try this. I dare you to try this because when this crashes and burns, it will. I told you. I said, I will have a nice button that says, I told you. And you will wear that button for 24 hours.
I'm a dope.
Is this a young?
No,
is this a young squire? What?
Yes.
Oh, stop it. No.
Yes.
So the answer is if you feel like this is your soulmate, here's the bad advice. If you feel like this second person, this friend of your current girlfriend is your soulmate, you break up with the girl you're currently seeing and you take out a calendar and you wait 60 days. You let 2 months pass, 60 days. If this is your soulmate, what's the difference?
Yeah, but what if the two are still friends? She's not going to... Again, he's thinking about him. He's not thinking about them. That's the problem.
Well, if she also feels that he is her soulmate in 2 months when this other girl has kind of licked her wounds and gone through a couple of cycles of I don't know, Haagen-Dazs, maybe swiping left.
Listen, it's not even that. It's every couple weeks they scratch an itch, and then it's over. It's not like it's a big thing, but I'm just telling you that whenever you try to, I never ever dated a friend's ex. Never.
I have.
That's a rule. I will
have.
not do that. No, because I wouldn't want it done
dated,
to me.
I don't mean dated. I mean scratched an itch. Same itch scratching.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying I would never do that. I would never do that to a friend. And I wouldn't want a friend to do it to me either.
What if it was the end of college, the year, and everybody went home
Doesn't
and
matter,
you didn't
no.
go home and you were the only two people it felt like on earth?
No. The answer's no.
Are you sure?
Yes. No.
Are you sure the answer's no?
It's always no. For me, it is. Because I don't think it's appropriate to, if it's a friend of yours.
Right. I hear what you're saying, and we're mature adults now, and it sounds like he's more mature than we are.
I've had this ever since I've been dating. I've never, ever dated.
You didn't immaturely just get overrun by hormones and say, I know you dated so-and-so last, but
No.
I gotta get in on that.
No, and I actually had chances where a friend of mine broke up with his girlfriend. It was a longtime girlfriend. He was dating someone else, and we ran into each other somewhere, and we went out, and I thought we were going out as friends. And she's like, what do you think so-and-so is going to say when he finds out we're dating? And I'm like, we're not dating.
We're dating?
Yeah, I said, we're not dating.
I just found out we were dating.
Yeah. I'm shocked.
All right, so dear listeners, here's our bad advice. John says, absolutely not, look away, run the other way. And I say, give it enough time and everybody moving on. If this is your soulmate, it could possibly be that you met the right person for you in a weird, roundabout sort of way. So it is possible that, you've seen couples who've been friends forever switch partners, or, it doesn't happen a lot. Maybe it was just that. Maybe it was just in that one porn. But I'm just saying, things happen, and you don't always
order
know.
A pizza?
It's Timmy from next door.
I'm here to fix the toilet.
Do you know on my Facebook page it says I know 9 people who have birthdays today?
What?
Really? I never
No.
really met anybody that has the same birthday as me.
9 people.
Wow.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
Is one of them George Lee?
George
I
Lee.
don't know when is. So my kid said, "Are you going to friend him?" I'm like, "Absolutely not." There's no
Hair
reason.
cutter.
There's
You're a hair cutter.
There's no
God,
reason
that
to
George
friend that
Lee.
man.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
How funny would it be if you looked up his occupation and it was he cut hair now?
Stylist. Oh, George.
Did he? I think he was in finance.
Oh.
But yeah.
Or maybe he's like a vasectomist. What do they call those? Urologist, probably.
I was like, what, a vasectomist? What's a
when you get vaccinated. That's what I used
What
to
do
call
they
it. 'Cause
call them?
I would always get
Sir.
vaccinated.
If I was getting one, I'd call him sir.
Doctor.
Oh.
All right.
Well, if you want one, I do have a listener.
No, I don't
actually
really want one.
contacted. No, not you, birthday boy. You can keep all that you have. I meant a listener actually wrote me asking for some bad advice.
Oh.
So if you would like to hear some bad advice.
Sure.
Bring it on.
Well, I should say, if you would like to hear a request, you can give the bad advice. It says, Dear Melissa, Amy, and John, my neighbor's dog likes to poo in my yard. I don't like my neighbor, so we don't really talk much. And I don't have a dog. How can I stop this shit? Literally. Signed, Neighborhood Watch.
I have a very easy way of doing this.
Are you going to collect it and put it on their doorstep?
No.
Does it involve the NRA?
It might,
Or any of its members?
No. Oh, nope.
That better
That
not
doesn't
be
count
the
as-
dog.
That doesn't count as bad advice. That doesn't count as bad.
Well, I mean, the dog has to come over and shit in your yard. I would be fuming. Honestly,
what it
what I
says.
would do is I would collect the poo, and then I would take it and I would put it in the back seat of the person's car.
Right, because that's probably easier than having a conversation with a human about.
Well, if they don't get along,
Well, it says I don't like my neighbor.
Yeah,
so
there
we
you
don't-
go.
Yo, okay, I guess you're right. So I guess there is no. Maybe they could throw
every
it?
time. Here's what I would do. This is actually good advice.
Oh,
So
then it's the
every
wrong
time the
segment.
dog comes over and shits in my yard, I go out with a spoon. I take a nice spoonful of shit. I go over to their car and I put it right underneath the door handle. So when they reach for the door handle, they get shit on their hand.
Oh, my God. You are like a Twitter god.
Every time.
All right,
This
troll.
way, they say, "Why? Who's putting shit on mine?" I go, "Oh, I was just taking your dog's shit that's in my yard, and I was giving it back to you. You don't like it? I don't like cleaning it up. So every time your dog shits in my yard, you better bring a hanky out here to clean off your door handle."
Well, my Lord, my God. Isn't there something like an air horn? Would that be too mean to the dog?
I feel no.
That's not an air horn.
Wrong crowd. I feel like the appropriate answer is a letter in the mailbox that says, "I'm sure you're not aware because you would not let it happen if you knew that on numerous occasions I have I've seen your dog. It's not my dog. I have seen your dog evacuating on my lawn, and I would like this to stop. I'm sure you're not aware of it because I know you would not let it happen. So if you could just come and do the cleanup and make sure he stays on your property, that would be fantastic."
I love the way you think. I love the way you think, John, because yours is devious, but it still requires so much personal effort and the touching of the poo. Melissa's is very thoughtful, but it's still this really long, I've got to craft a letter. And where my brain goes is, why don't I just take a picture of the dog taking a deuce in my yard and then put up those wanted sign posters? Have you seen this dog? And it's a picture of the dog in your yard pooping, and you can make everyone else be angry at the dog.
Shame that
along
neighbor.
with you. Shame that neighbor. That's a new segment.
Shame that neighbor.
Shame that neighbor.
Anyway, well, clearly we all have lots of bad advice to go around because I don't think any of this solves it.
So, dear listener, you're on your own. We gave you 3 different choices of bad advice. You are welcome to choose from those 3 options.
Or the next time you see your neighbor outside, you just go, "Have your dog stop shitting in my yard."
The talking approach. 40 years ago in school, that's how we would have handled it.
With your leather strap on your books. Or I thought John was going to say, "Go over and take a shit on their yard." That seemed like a John response in my head. That's where I thought he was going.
It's less work. It's not as crafty as the under the handle, but it is less work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just the once and done.
It's something you're doing anyway, so you might as well
It's
do
impactful.
Yeah. I do like the idea of taking a picture of the dog doing it, but then also putting the note in the mailbox that says, "I'm sure you're not aware. I just wanted to bring this to your attention. Not a fan. Try to keep your dog in your own yard. Thanks so much. Merry Christmas."
Yeah.
Because it seems like a Christmas time conversation.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That dog would be history.
Okay, John,
Yes.
I'm afraid to ask.
Uh-oh.
We are also, as we hit 100 episodes, we are going to really divide these segments more clearly because I have a gift of Amy who can sing and jingle better than most. And I feel like there is a story around a McDonald's treat that is seasonal that you would like to share with us.
So the podcast, I Shake My Head with Lisa and Sam. Lisa is a big fan of the McRib sandwich.
Hey, how's she doing, by the way?
She's getting better.
Wow, great.
I forget what it is. I think it's 60-40 or 70-30, but she's on the 70 side of the 70-30.
Oh, that's so great. Lisa, if you are still or at all or ever were a listener, we are thinking about you and excited for your quick recovery.
Yeah. Let me get back to my story. So anyhow.
Are either of them going to She Podcast Live?
No. So the McRib hasn't been to Canada in forever. And apparently the McRib is coming to New Jersey. It's here somewhere.
It's here.
Right.
The diarrhea,
They have
it's here.
an app that's called the McRib Locator.
Stop.
So you put your zip code in and it tells you the closest McRib sandwich. The closest McRib sandwich here is 23 miles away. Am I driving 23 miles for a McRib sandwich?
You? Yes.
No, I'm not. I'm not that
I would
big
drive
of a fan.
23 miles away from a McRib sandwich.
Well,
That's how
so Sam is going to be here on Wednesday. And Lisa, for some crazy reason, wants us to go track down a McRib sandwich.
Right.
And she wants Lisa to try it. I mean, she wants Sam to try it. And Sam doesn't want any of it. She doesn't want any part of it. Because it's not real ribs. It's some kind of pork-like product.
I don't even think it's meat.
Maybe.
It's something, and it's got a sauce.
So how
Made from
far?
that dog that shit on your lawn one too many times.
Yeah. So I mean, if it was at the McDonald's that was near here, I would go get one. You know,
Well.
I'm
but
not
here's where I
driving
take
23
exception.
miles.
But you are. Come on.
I
This
don't
is where
think I am.
I take exception because now it's like a little lover's holiday.
It's an adventure.
You're going to go find out what really is in those pretend
An
bones
adventure
in
is
the
a
McRib.
drive to a nice place.
Yes. Well,
not to McDonald's to get a McRib sandwich.
What town?
Hey,
what
I like the
town
way-
is it?
It's
I like
actually
the
in
way you're thinking.
Horsham, PA.
Oh,
Oh.
it's by me.
Yes.
Huh.
Good old Horsham. Maybe it's Horsham bones that are in there.
Huh.
Right.
Them Horsham bones. Oh, the McRib.
How long is she here?
Sad.
She's going to be here for a week.
Yay.
All right, so I come back on Sunday from She Podcast Live, and Monday I'll meet you there.
Yeah, I told you I'm not driving for.
Yeah, all
a
right. I
McRib
hear you.
sandwich.
I wouldn't do it either for
Oh.
sketchy food. For an adventure, there's very little I won't do, but not for a McRib. That's
I know.
gross. It's gross. It's not going to be worth it.
So today I decided I took the whole day off today. I didn't do any work. I
Oh,
figured,
good for you.
yeah. So one of the things I did right before I came here was I said, my truck needs to be vacuumed out. So I'm going to go to the car wash and I'm going to vacuum out the car.
At the car
So I
wash.
pull up and the first thing I see is it's $1.25 for 3.5 minutes of vacuuming.
You better hurry.
And yeah, I'm thinking to myself, it's kind of a lot of money. So I take the quarters and I'm pushing them in, and I put in 5 quarters and nothing. Doesn't start up, doesn't do anything. It's just nothing. So there's no thing to push for the coin to return,
Makes it even more expensive if it doesn't work.
right? So now I'm like,
Right.
damn, now what? So I kind of bang it a couple times and nothing. So I was like, how about that? So now I go, because I've got a lot of quarters in, what's called the ashtray. I call it the coin carrier. So I pull up to the next one. I put in 4 coins, and as I put the last one in, it just keeps spitting out. So now I got $1.25 in the one, $1 in the other one, and no vacuuming.
I'm following you to the slots. That's what I know.
So-
Because that's not how this works. You're
Right.
supposed to put the thing in, get the service. That's the number one rule. Prostitutes, everything. You pay.
I
you
say
get.
who?
I was
Say,
so mad
Who?
that I wanted to get a sledgehammer and beat that
Oh.
thing into a piece of scrap metal.
Was there no human there who could help
honey.
you?
There's nobody there. It's one of those ones where you just pull in, you put money in it, and you just vacuum. There's nobody there. I can't go inside. It's a car wash. It's one of those car wash, coin-operated car washes.
Okay.
So the second one, I get a hold of it, and I really put my shoulder into it, and I start rocking it, and I'm trying to rip it off of the concrete slab that it's on, and I got it moving, rocking pretty good, but I can't rip it off of there. And then I thought to myself, I'll probably end up paying $1,000 because I broke this thing because I got $1 because
So
a dollar
there-
stuck in it.
Just a note for you: when there are no humans working there are video cameras fucking
Oh,
everywhere.
So what it's going to look like? It's going to look like a grizzly bear attacked a vacuum.
Arrgh.
Did I tell you guys last week on this very podcast what I did when the Mac machine ate my card? Did I ever tell you this?
No.
So I went. So this was 100
You
years
still
ago.
call it a Mac machine?
Yeah, I was going to say that's how old you are.
I'm sorry.
Gotta go
Mac
slap
machine.
the Mac.
That
What can I say? I'm
stands
from
for
the
Money Access Center.
That's right. So we call it a Mac machine because that's what it is. The rest of you call it an ATM because you're sad and slow.
Automatic teller.
So 1,000 years ago, I was in California visiting a friend. She was doing something. We were going to catch up later. Like my flight had gotten in, one of these deals, and I just needed some money. I went to the Mac machine around the corner from where she was, and the thing ate my card. And I'm here for a week, and it ate the card to the point where I can still see it, and I can't pull it out. So what do I do? I'm trying to get it. I can't get it. So I walk over to whatever the convenience store is, like a CVS, something like this. I bought some needle nose pliers. I went back to that machine. I fucking jacked it until I pulled my card out of there.
Oh my God.
No money. Like, I'm not even thinking cameras, illegal.
No,
I'm
why
like,
were there cameras at an ATM machine?
So, and it took several tries. I finally hossed that fucker out of there. And here's my favorite part of the whole story. My cheap ass went back to that CVS and returned the fucking needle nose.
Oh
Well,
my
you're
God,
done
I
with
can't
them.
believe you did that.
What are you going to do? Bring those home on a flight from California? Yeah, you did.
So I had the same thing happen to me. I was down on vacation for a week, and same thing. The first night I go to get money, and it ate my card. So I go to the bank the next day, and the bank says, "Oh, we can't give it back to you. You have to apply for a new card." I go, "Oh, no. I'm down here for a week. I can't get it. You got to give me that card back."
This is when you bring out the gun sound. Well, no, that's illegal. That's humans. That's
so
illegal.
Then he says, "I'll call the police." I said, "You're going to need to call the police because once you call the police, me and you are because I'm like 25 and I have zero fucks to give."
No.
We're going rounds, bitch. We're going rounds.
And I'm hungover. And I was at that time of my life where I would punch a person in the face if they just looked at me wrong. And he says, "I'll call the police." I said, "You're going to need the police and an ambulance if I don't get that fucking card out of there because I'm here for a week. I can't get another card and I need money. Your choice." I said, "Here's my driver's license. Here's my driver's license. Go in there and get that card."
And?
I got my card back.
Well,
the
Rambo.
moral of this story.
I said, "This isn't going to end well."
For you, bitch.
Oh, let me tell you something. I would have went to jail, but he would have been beat up. Oh yeah, I had no problem with beating.
It would have been worth it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, at that point,
Can somebody get my ATM machine, my card? Because I'm going to need some bail.
I need some bail money.
If you could just get that card back and bail me out, I'd really appreciate it.
Oh, I was furious. Yeah, well, like I said, I had one of those looks that I've been told, and especially back then, I had a look that where they would say, "Yeah, he's insane.
He's psychotic."
I don't know why you said no, like these two women with whom you are close would never be going to this podcast convention that Amy and I are going to. We're going to She Podcast Live in 2 days. Woo, woo. And we are in the process of packing. Amy has dropped like 25 pounds. I have gained like 25 pounds.
It's a good swap, ladies. Get on it.
And I don't care because I came to the conclusion that, I mean, my jeans still fit. So that works. But who's going to this conference?
Well, I would be a lot of women podcasters.
Yes.
Okay. Which you are now. And the big thing is, what are you going to get out of this?
Welcome.
So,
well, do I need to look nice to get it out of it, or can I go there in jeans and a T-shirt, which is my uniform?
Right. No one's going to care. No one is going to care. Maybe if you're going out to dinner or something and you look like you're homeless, you might catch an eye or a look or something like that. But what do you care? Well, that's one thing I don't understand with you ladies. You do this to yourself.
Well, if I dress nicely, it's for Amy. I'll tell you that right now. She is the person with whom I will be spending 99% of my time, and that 1% is in the shitter. So, and she doesn't need to keep me company there.
So my thing is that, like, when you go there, what are you actually going to do?
Is that what you're asking us? Because
yes.
I was going to ask you what we should be packing. But if you want to get a little deeper than my packing comment, we are going to learn from fellow podcasters how to be better at what we do. How to take
that sounded so fucking remedial. It's true, but it was hilarious because it was like taking a long time.
How to do what we do or what we want to do just better than we do it. Because we have 100 people who listen to us every single week. And that's great. And we love you.
It's not great. It's horrible. It should be 500.
So thanks for listening, kids.
Okay, that was abusive, and I don't need to be in an abusive relationship any longer. Give me 2 weeks' notice so that we can live together for 2 weeks.
I'm sorry the truth abuses you. But 100 listeners, that we've been here for 100 episodes, is ridiculous. It's horrible.
One listener an episode. Each episode, we gained one more listener.
I'm telling you right now, if this was my podcast, I would cancel it.
Okay, well, number one, fuck you. And number two, I just told you that we are going to this conference to do what we do better to grow our audience. So as I tell you that we're trying to get better, you take that opportunity to hit me in the face with a shovel. And I do not appreciate that 1,000%.
This is how women fight. All I said was 100 listeners per episode.
If this were me, I'd quit. Don't tell me there's another way to take it.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say I'd quit. I said I would cancel it.
Rewind. One listener an episode. Each episode, we gained one more listener.
I'm telling you right now, if this was my podcast, I would cancel it.
Cancel culture.
Cancel culture.
Cancel culture.
Okay.
Move. What was he saying last
You're
time?
talking to the
Move.
editor. I just rewound this and replayed exactly what I said. And what it said was that if this was my show, I would have canceled it. I wouldn't say I quit. I said I would cancel it.
What's the difference between canceling the show and quitting the show?
Quitting would be walking away from you two and letting this go on again.
Who could do that?
But canceling the show would be like, this show's not working. We should either try to redo it or change it up or do something else.
Well, we are doing that. That is our
Okay.
plan. So we're going to learn how to, do this just a little better and maybe even a lot better. I mean, if that happens, woohoo. So we're going to learn to hear, maybe to make fun of, I don't know, lots of things. Aim.
Well, and part of it, this conference is a celebration of how far everybody in the industry, meaning all women in the industry, have come particularly. So there are multiple tracks. There are slots, and there's a huge welcome for women to come to this conference who have never even podcasted before, who are still dreaming of starting their podcast, all the way through professionals who started as media professionals and slid into podcasting because the industry has evolved so greatly that now it's another, communications channel that's a viable business strategy for them. So it's the full gamut from a business strategy conference, branding and marketing, all the way down to we just want to take something to the people who say we just want to take something that's either started as a passion project or a hobby or a dreamed of having a voice. It's all over the place. So in getting to know some of the women who are heading to this thing, it's really going to be, and it comes back to the packing, quite honestly, because we say, who are you packing for and what are you going to be doing there? Part of what you're going to be doing there is communing with all of these other women at various stages of their podcasting experience. And that's really exciting. And it's also really fucking horrible from a clothing standpoint, because you have some of them that are in there in the whole power suit and their whole,
there you go.
I'm basically at work. And then you have other people who are, it took every ounce of energy that I have to
get me
climb
out of the
of my whatever room it is in my house that I do this, right? I don't like to talk to people. I don't like to order pizza because it's too much contact. So I mean, we've got the whole range of everybody, and the vibe of this thing is all voices welcome. Let's bring it, ladies, and we're all here for each other. So so you could roll up in your sweatpants. You could roll up in your I'm meeting the queen tomorrow. I don't know. How do you pack for that shit?
So
literally,
again, I don't want to be mansplaining, but this is why men have business casual and suits, like, because we all wear the same thing, so we don't stand out. But women, you have so many different things. You can wear a dress, you can wear a pantsuit, you can wear, you have all this stuff that you can wear. You're going to accessorize. That's got to meet this. Then you got a makeup that goes with it and all. It's just craziness.
It is.
And what that does is that uses up a lot of your bandwidth, a lot of your thought pattern on how to. Yeah, and it's unnecessary.
Yeah, the most successful people, they say, like Steve Jobs, wore the same fucking clothes all day, every day, their whole lives. I'm wearing a black turtleneck and black pants. Judith Regan, publisher, she wears the exact same suit she has it in 30 colors. So the one thing they're never thinking about is, what am I going to wear today? It's just the next one. And
off the hanger it comes, and on the body it goes.
Which one's next? And for me, on the everyday, it's T-shirt and jeans, and it's probably the 5 T-shirts on the top of the pile. And I'm actually working my way down the pile while I'm trying to pack and thinking maybe Amy and I might need like a meal outside of the hotel and might want to put on some clothes and walk out. So like maybe I need one nicer outfit.
Right.
Well, what if I can wear that twice?
Exactly.
I remember going to Los Angeles with my girlfriend. We flew out together from New York, and she had on a pair of, to Los Angeles, the really sunny, super hot Los Angeles. She had on a pair of light brown corduroy pants that she wore for 6 days.
Yeah,
straight
to Cabernet color.
Straight.
The funniest thing was, a couple years ago, I edited a show, which was the Audacity Podcast, was a guy. And then I also edited the She Podcast, which was Elsie and Jess, and it's 2 women. So they both did an episode the same week on how to pack for a conference. It was the funniest thing to listen to because it was so different. Like he says, for clothes, don't pack a bunch of clothes because they have free T-shirts there. just get a T-shirt there and wear it there. So he was definitely jeans and T-shirts. Jeans and T-shirts. That's what he wore. Where women, and then you listen to Elsie and Jess is like, I have color coordinated and my makeup and then this and how I pack that. And I was like, oh my God, to listen to two of them. I mean, you could see where one had so much more thought process, so much thought used up on how to pack.
Don't kid yourself, though. Sorry to jump in, but don't kid yourself. There is, and I'm coming from an advertising background, the dudes in advertising and the dudes in many industries, they are paying a whole lot of attention to what they're wearing and their shopping and their packing. They just don't talk about it. So there are dudes, there are women who say, there's T-shirts there, I'm set. And those are the folks rolling in with their legging pants and, maybe a boho bag stuffed with, I don't know, weed. They're not really focused on.
Sit me next to them.
You're just going to a conference. So I say be comfortable. Be comfortable in what you're wearing and be comfortable in the clothes that you're putting on. Just be comfortable. Don't worry about all this. You're not going to, the people that you look, I always say the people that you meet there are podcasters too. And a lot of podcasters are introverts and a lot of podcasters don't, some have style, some don't. So, and I would say that the people that mind won't matter and the people that matter won't mind what you're wearing.
Oh, that's
Go
true.
and be you.
That's absolutely excellent advice and how uncharacteristic for our show to hear it. But I will also add to it and say that I don't know how much of this is me being new to the realm of podcasting and how much of it is podcasting being relatively new in and of itself. There isn't a uniform yet. The only uniform is your pajamas. And that's not really what you're going to wear when you're meeting with Google to talk about sponsorships. So there's a professional uniform. There's even the hoodie, the zip up hoodie took a while to break through.
Podcasting's 14 years old, so even maybe a little older. 14, 15 years old.
I would tell you that it became mainstream in the past 5 years, 4 maybe.
Well, I started in 2012, and there was...
You're a pioneer.
Not a pioneer. 2012, people were podcasting in 2005.
Didn't you just win the Podcasters Roundtable?
So...
Didn't you just win
that's
the
a whole
gold
different
microphone?
thing. That doesn't have anything to do with it. But what I'm saying is, this is what I love about podcasting. Podcasting has no gatekeeper. No, there's no gatekeeper for point of entry. Anybody who wants to podcast can learn to podcast. Everything is available to all. In other words, the technology to all the tools, everything. Now, the only thing that would make a difference is money, but there are a lot of podcasting equipment and tools and stuff like that are free that you could get that you could actually do a very good job. But it depends on how much of it's your passion. I know some podcasters that as soon as they start podcasting, the first thing they want to do is figure out how to make money. So they're not really podcasters. What they are people that want to generate a stream of revenue.
It's a business.
Right. It's a business. And I can tell those people because the first thing they're doing, they're hawking, sign up for my Patreon, buy a T-shirt. I'm like, shut up and give me some content or I'm unsubscribing from you because I don't want to, you know what? I'm not here to give you money. Entertain me. Make me want to give you money. Don't just sit here and say, oh, I work hard, so give me money. It's a bunch of crap.
You hustle hard.
Right. You go and you become someone that the people that listen feel like they're friendly with and all. And then they're going to say, how can I support you in what you're doing right now? How can I give you money?
I'm now excited that I'm going to get a free T-shirt somewhere along the line. I hadn't counted on that.
Sure. You go right up to the lip sync booth and you get a hashtag podcaster
P.S.
T-shirt.
I also am giving away swag. We are also part of that giving away, but it's not a T-shirt. So
better.
So if you're listening, come find me. Amy and I have treats for you.
Oh, my stars and stripes, this girl. So good.
Network. Take a look at the presentations that are put out there. Look for how to grow an audience and all that other stuff and get in there and see a few of them and see if anything rubs off or anything strikes you.
That is why we're going.
Yeah,
that's why we paid for flights, paid for tickets, and have made a significant investment in this endeavor. Okay, guys, I have a name for you.
Only took you 100 episodes, but okay.
Suck it. I have a name for you, and this revolves around John's eye-rolling cancel culture. Stay with me. Tell me if you know this name. Carson King.
Of course I do. He is the guy who was at a college football game it was a pre-game show in
University
Iowa.
of Iowa. Yep.
And he stood in the background. He says, "Need beer money," and he put his Venmo thing.
I remember.
And they started sending him a bunch of money. Now,
That was a sweet story.
the guy could have taken that money because he was getting thousands of dollars.
And he said, Mom and Dad, what should I do with it? And they said, you should give it to the kids in the hospital across the thing that we waved to at the whatever. I know.
He
news.
raised $1 million, over $1 million for the hospital.
So he goes on there with his sign, and money starts rolling in. All he needs.
He's 24 years old.
All he needs.
How old is he?
All he needs
24.
is $12.99 for his case, and it just, like John said, it rolls in. So as it's rolling in,
Anheuser-Busch jumps on. They decide to give $325,000 more. So
both Venmo and Anheuser-Busch say, we will match whatever it is that you raise.
Excellent.
And he said, holy shit. So he raises $1 million. So this is a beautiful story about how he raises his money and he gives to this hospital that watches the games and supports and all these kids. A children's hospital is beautiful. So a reporter gets a hold of this and says,
from this Iowa City Cornhusk
and the
paper.
reporter does a little digging on tweets from this Carson King back in his earlier teens.
He was 16 years old.
So he found this Aaron.
Asshole.
No, come on. Aaron
Asshole.
Calvin says, I have done the research on this boy. Yes, you're all thrilled that he gave $1 million. Shut the fuck up. I gave $1 million. Like, can you just leave this boy alone? So
No,
he
we
says
must dig into
there
his
were-
past and find out if there's anything that he's ever said that we can cancel, because that way we can feel good about ourselves.
Let me tell the story.
I'm so furious over this whole story.
So Aaron Calvin digs in and he finds some racist tweets in Carson King's earlier years. So Carson comes on TV and he says, I apologize. I was young and stupid, and I am sorry for those tweets. Not I'm sorry if it offended anyone, not a clarifying I'm sorry. He says,
Right.
I'm just sorry for those tweets. Well, the Twitterverse has decided that they were so excited by what Carson King had done, they did some research on the reporter, and they dug up even worse shit on Aaron Calvin's prior social media and exposed all of that shit that Aaron had written, and his Cornhusk paper fired him.
See, it gets even worse than that, because what happened as the people went after the reporter's like, oh my God, I got to go in there and delete. I got to go through my history and delete my stuff. So people are going in and they're screenshotting them. And as they're screenshotting he's deleting them. So you can't go back and find it, but they have the screenshots of them. And this is what I'm talking about. This kid was 16 years old, and with his friends back in 2008, Twitter wasn't even what Twitter is now. It was kids. They used it as almost like a texting thing. And what they were doing was they were quoting something from Tosh.0, the show, it was just something that he quoted, and they took that out of context. And then Anheuser-Busch, the scumbag corporation that it is, because they're like, so then what they did was they disavowed themselves from this poor guy. And now he's been raked through the coals over this whole thing. And I'm just like, here's a guy that did a really great thing, selfless thing. And because of these Twitter warriors, they got to go out there and try to destroy somebody.
So Anheuser-Busch also, before it went down the shitter, they made a year's supply of beer cans with his face on them and sent them to him. So he has a year's supply of Busch Light, or Busch as he called them, latte or something.
Or is what everybody else calls it, piss water.
Right. So it turned out something great that this kid did just exploded or imploded, or John's cancel culture got this reporter fired. And why was that reporter going after this kid in the first place? Like, he just did something great. Shut the fuck up. Like, why?
And then how about Anheuser-Busch, where they take and hawk this product that's killed millions and millions of people and ruined their livers and all this other stuff. And with this product that Where do you think the word Bud Wipers came from and all this? I mean, what a horrible product that they have. Yeah, you ever drink?
I don't know where that word came from.
I've never heard that word
I've never
before.
heard it before in my life. Bud Wipers.
Bud Wipers.
What's this
Yeah,
mean?
you drink Budweiser beer and the next day you have the shits all day. It's a horrible product.
Butt wipers. Oh.
Bud Wipers. Bud
I
Wipers.
see how it
Yes.
works. I see that.
Yeah,
Get
I've
it
never
now.
heard
Right.
that before.
And
Don't
so,
drink that beer.
so they're all high and mighty. And again, corporations, they are only, I guess, all they want is money. That's all they care about. They don't care about this and that. So if a bunch of people come in and say, well, this guy's have racist tweets, first thing they do is they just push back. They push away from the table. And I'm sick of the whole thing. Again, you know how I feel.
So we do know how you feel about most of that, at least.
Leave the poor people alone.
Oh.
We're trying, John.
We are trying. All right. So my final thoughts of today, this morning, whenever you're listening,
Today.
dear listener,
Tomorrow.
is I told you that I've married 20 years. The day before you hear this will be my 20th anniversary. And it is also Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the
Oh.
Jewish year. So my husband and I will be fasting because that's what we do on this one day. But it's also an opportunity to say you're sorry and to show and express that over the course of this past year, I have missed the mark. I have not accomplished the things I wanted to. I have done wrong by a few people. I have said things that I shouldn't have said. And it's probably because there's a microphone in front of my mouth right now that I said these things. And I want to tell you, dear listener, that if I have wronged you in the last year or 100 episodes, I will be better. I will do everything I can in my power
What?
to be better, to try
Well,
harder.
how about trying to be funnier? Let's do that. Let's be funnier. Let's not worry about
this is a
offending
personal
everybody.
thing, not a podcast thing. This isn't a podcast thing. This is a personal thing. This is as a human.
Personally.
Yeah, as a human, I will be better. I will.
As a podcaster, will you be funnier?
She doesn't need to be funnier, Jamingo. My favorite part of Yom Kippur is every year when I take the 5 minutes to send a nice text, or sometimes I'll even call you on the phone myself, and I'll say, "Hey, babe, got anything to say to me?"
Amy, I'm sorry.
It's the day of repentance.
I'm sorry.
Look I'm a Catholic. We got to take it on the chin. It's like being a Cowboys fan. We got to take it on the chin all year long. So if you get one day where you have to stop and say, you know what, maybe
I don't understand that.
time I could
Catholics,
try
you go to confession whenever you want. You unburden yourself
Catholics-
whenever you want.
Sweetheart, this is not a good team we're on. Are you a Catholic as well?
I used to be until I found out they were diddling all the boys.
Well, yeah. How do you recover from this? We're on team Michael Jackson. It's not good. So
Oh,
it's
no.
not good.
You know, I do.
not
I go
good.
like this. I'm at a craps table. When the dealers leave, I do this. I go like this, and I'm out. I
You
shake
just
my
wave your
hands. I
hands
show
up
my
and down.
hands. I'm out. I back away.
No.
But isn't it a lovely tradition? I feel like that woman in the movie. I love the Jews. I love the gays. I love them. Isn't it a wonderful tradition to at least have the presence of mind to stop and not be like the Catholics where you're staring at your own belly button all the time and saying, here's what I did wrong. Fix me, one man. Instead, you look outward and you say, I have an impact. I'm part of a community. I'm part of a world. What can I do to be just incrementally better next time?
And that's
I love
it.
that.
I'm not looking to save the world. I'm just looking to just a step better than I was this year.
I'm in. I'm Yom Kippurin. I will not fast, but I will help.
I wonder how long it takes Melissa to apologize to her family.
I am not my mother.
Oh, stop.
He had to throw it in there somewhere. Family? Yeah, I don't know. I guess I could visit more, but it's so painful.
I'm talking about immediate family, like the boy, the girl.
Oh, them. So what's interesting is what's interesting is how long does it take me to like look up and see what somebody's wearing and be like, ugh, really? That's what you put together for the one day a year? And I'm like, oh my God, I already have something for which to apologize for next year. So
Reset starts now.
exactly. No, starting now. Starting now. So
The reset.
so I mean, I know, but that's what I'm going to try to be better at. And clearly, John thinks I need to be funnier, so I will work on that as well.
No, I
No.
just think that if you're trying never to offend anyone, how are you funny? How does that work? Or you pick somebody that everybody hates and you pile on them. You dog pile them.
Do you mean like the neighbor whose dog shits in your yard? That person?
Well, yes, but I mean, so in other words,
I got your words. You don't need other words.
how do I say? Okay, so for now, the culture says you have to punch up. So it's okay to punch up now. That's the group that you're allowed to make fun of, and everybody.
Like what, Jennifer Aniston, because she's gorgeous and has tons of money, you can make fun of her for something?
Well, I was thinking more of boomers, the baby boomers, and that group of people. Me, I'm allowed to be made fun of because I'm white, old, and a man. I'm a male, an old white male. So everybody's allowed to take shots at me now. I am open season, which is fine.
That may be true, but I got to say,
Take your shots. I don't care. You can't
No,
break
it's
me
not
or
about
upset
that.
me.
That's all fine and good.
Right.
You've got a very particular view of comedy, which is a lot narrower than my sort of broader view of comedy. I don't know that anybody cares about my view of comedy, but my point is it's not always about punching, literally. It's just there's observational humor. There's things that are funny that we can all share that's relatable. It doesn't always have to be about putting any item, person, thing, dog, pile of Duke down.
Like
right?
like
So
Jerry
that's-
Seinfeld started that way, right? He said, like, what's with the tiny bottles of shampoo? Like he's not, bottles of shampoo aren't getting upset. Like it was observational humor that this world is a very strange place. How come we always...
Okay, so there's different types of humor. And here's, like I said, because I'm an old guy here. And I remember going back to the comedy clubs before there were phones and ways to record and all this other stuff. And people would go to these comedy clubs to listen to people do dark humor and, and make jokes that would make you almost go, oh, when you heard it, and then make you laugh and everything like that. And it wasn't meant as something that was degrading or anything like that. It's just making fun of a stereotype or something like that. And everybody laughed along too.
That's what we'll try to avoid, the
Now,
stereotypes.
nobody around here, that's all taboo because of, again, I'll go back to the Bill Burr special. This whole cancel culture thing. I think white women started it, and I blame you all.
Ladies and
Well,
gentlemen,
we'll be glad not to see you at the conference.
dear listeners, please come out and find us on all social medias at Listen Brilliant. That is Facebook and Instagram. And please, if you'd like to yell at John for his opinions, because he's just told you he can take it.
I can
He is
take it.
bulletproof. He is bulletproof.
Or if you would like some bad advice, we have bad advice for you. Or you would just like to share your thoughts, please send us an email to brilliantobservations@gmail.com, and we would be thrilled to hear from you. We are going to better ourselves this weekend.
Yes.
So think about us getting together or hiding in our room and drinking little bottles of alcohol.
And we won't make fun of those little shampoo bottles because they're going to be drunk as well.
That's just
We're gonna
punching
be-
down. We don't want to
We're
do
going
that.
to drink those bottles as well.
Punching down.
Right. So please get in contact with us. We'd love to hear from you, and we will do our best to learn more to make your listening experience even better. Any farewells, Lady Jen?
I don't say anything. I usually get my 1 points in and let you guys do the ending.
That let us do the mop
thanks
up.
for that.
Yeah, you mop up afterwards.
I'll mop up afterwards.
Alvita Shen. We will see you on the flip side.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye.